the news media has been obsessed with the last few days with the so-called summit in Europe and the G7 meeting and the inflation rate out of control and the attempts to increase taxes, et cetera, et cetera. But the crisis on the southern border continues unabated, and we like to check in with people who know what's going on down there. And joining us now is Tom Homan. He's the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement under Donald Trump, and he's has his finger on the pulse. He knows what's going on, and you've seen him on TV a lot. And he has a book out, "Defend the Border and Save Lives: Solving Our Most Important Humanitarian and Security Crisis." And Tom Homan, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, listen, the first thing, I got a couple of questions for you, but the first thing I want to ask you about is this, I'll read you a headline: Biden expands Obama-era program for Central American minors to migrate to U.S. legally. And I guess what this means is they call the Central American Minors Program people under the age of 21 in Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. And they can just claim that they have a parent living legally in the U.S., or someone who has temporary protection from deportation, which is everybody under the Biden administration, and they can just get a free plane ride to the United States. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, it's shocking. It's not just a CAM program. They changed the requirements for the CAM program, where the parents, if they're here in the United States, they don't have to be permanent residents. They don't even have to have legal status here. They could be pending asylum hearing. They could be here illegally, and their case has been administratively closed by the immigration court. People that are here illegally will have their kids shipped to them at taxpayer expense here to the United States. It used to be they could only do it if the parent had legal status here, but now they're opening up to everybody. I'm shocked, and at the same time, where these people are in asylum, they changed the asylum rules. Merrick Garland yesterday decided that, if your husband hits you, you can claim asylum here in the other country. It's not that you leave. If your husband hits you in El Salvador and you get to Mexico, that's not good enough. Even though you escaped your husband, you escaped the entire country, that's going to be justification to come to the United States. Along with gang violence and rising crime, any country has a higher crime rate than us will get a free pass to the United States. This administration, it's just gone crazy. They're undoing everything to support an open borders agenda. There is no enforcement anymore.
And I was just looking at this, under Obama, there were 60,000 of these unaccompanied minors came across the border illegally the last year of his administration, 2016. And that coincided with a massive rise in MS-13 gang violence, didn't it?
Absolutely. When I was the ICE director, we did Operation Matador in New York, Long Island. We arrested just shy of 500 gang members. 42% of them, almost half of them, the gang members we arrested in Long Island came here as an unaccompanied alien child.
And they also had major violence problems here in Massachusetts. You had major gang violence with illegal alien unaccompanied minors in Maryland, all across the East Coast, and I dare say in the entire country, right?
Yeah, MS-13 is actually in 42 states across this nation. And look, this CAM program, taking kids under the age of 21, means you're taking kids 16, 17, 18, 19, prime gang age. This is just, it's ludicrous. It's incompetence at the highest level. And this is just going to bring more surge to the border. When they mention the asylum changes and saying that now you can be escaping crime, you can escape domestic violence, or whatever, when they open that floodgate, that's just going to be more. Instead of taking steps to slow the flow, every week they make some sort of ridiculous announcement that's just going to bring more. And now they're talking about, within a week, dropping Title 42, which means they can no longer send single adults back to Mexico under COVID restrictions. They drop that, we lose the border completely. They've already are going to detail half the northern border patrol agents. One half of them, 50%, will be detailed to the southern border. And they're being instructions. You're not going down there to enforce the law. You're not going down there to arrest them and put them in ICE custody. You're going to go down there and process them for release. That is a fact I've heard from several Border Patrol command, the instructions they're getting when they go down there.
We're talking to Tom Homan, the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So, and when they say they're victims of domestic violence, they just have to say they're victims of domestic violence, right? And just like you don't have to prove that you have relatives in the United States. You just have to say you have relatives in the United States and get a free plane ticket.
At a point. If at a point when they had to prove, all you got to do is talk to a corrupt police officer in El Salvador. He'll give you a letter for a couple $100 saying you're a victim of gang violence. There's so much fraud wrapped in the whole CAM project. That's why President Trump stopped it. You could buy letters saying that you're under certain conditions. He's home. You just the military, along with a majority of the police officers down to 3 Central Americans, are corrupt, and so it's rampant with fraud. That's why Trump shut it down. They can still look if they want to really claim amnesty. They really want to claim asylum. They can go to the nearest U.S. embassy. There's one in each of those countries, and apply for asylum. There's a legal way to do this, but what they're doing is not doing the legal way. They're changing the system so thousands more can qualify. And look, I've said it many times. I think you even said it in your show. The data show in the last decade, 90% of Central Americans who claim asylum at our border never get relief from U.S. courts because either they don't show up, they simply don't qualify, they don't qualify under the rules of asylum. So what's the Biden administration did? I called this 6 months ago. I said they were going to do this. Now they're changing what is required to claim asylum. So now rather than 90% lose their case, 90% going to win their case. Again, open borders agenda, future Democratic voters that are going to be counted in the next census, which means more seats in the House for the Democrats. The Democrats have sold our country out, our sovereignty out, our border security out for perpetual power. It's sickening.
What about the wall? That's the other question I wanted to ask you about. Governor Abbott of Texas is talking about spending $250 million to build a wall just to prevent this crime wave from crossing the border. Is it going to work?
Yeah, every mile of wall means lower crossings, lower crime. Look, every place they built a wall, illegal immigration went down and illegal drug flow went down. We're the thousands that are coming across right now on the southern borders where there's not a wall. So I'm behind the governor of Texas. I've already signed 3 different lawsuits with him. I'm their expert witness on 3 separate lawsuits against the Biden administration on immigration. I'm actually going to make the trip down there with the president, to meet with the governor, talk about the border wall, and I'm deeply engaged with that. And I hope the governor of Texas is a patriot, right? He's just not protecting the citizens of Texas. He's protecting the United States because the majority of people across the border, including with fentanyl, they don't stay in Texas. They go all over the country. Fentanyl and opioids everywhere. So God bless governor of Texas. He's a true patriot, and he's doing the right thing for the people. For the U.S. government, the Biden administration has abandoned law enforcement. They've abandoned security on our border.
And apparently, people in Texas in the Southwest are furious about this. The Republicans have been winning mayoral races in Texas that, judging by the population and the previous electoral results, they had no business winning. So their plans to flood the system with illegal aliens dependent on welfare. It's not doesn't seem to be working at this particular point, Tom Homan.
No, I think we're making enough noise. I make a lot of noise. Shows like yours are so vital to let the people, American people, know the truth. I think the truth is finally breaking through. What's happening on the border is unprecedented. We've never seen a government just turn their backs on the men and women of Border Patrol. They haven't done one thing. Think about it. This crisis has been in place, for several months. This administration has not done one thing to slow the flow. They haven't done one thing to put a consequence or deterrence in place so people don't come. Everything they're doing, like I said, with the CAM program, then the asylum changes, and the moratorium on deportations, and shut ICE down so there's no interior enforcement. So if you get by the Border Patrol, you're home free because you can be in the United States illegally, and ICE isn't even allowed to arrest you unless you go and get convicted of a serious crime. Being here illegally is no longer illegal under the Biden administration policy.
I know.
So I think American people are finally wising up.
Yeah, we used to have an attorney general in this state who said technically it's not illegal to be illegal in Massachusetts, and we laughed at her. But you know what? She's been proven correct. It's now just not just in Massachusetts; it's everywhere. Tom Homan, thank you very much for being with us. Where can people go if they want to read more about your activities?
Look, I can go to I got a web there, TomHomanSpeaks.com. Also, I have my LLC, Homan Strategic Consulting.com, and you can see me there posting where I'm speaking, where I'm going, and things I'm up to, including the lawsuits I'm joined with.
Thanks. We look forward to seeing you in Texas with Governor Abbott and President Trump very shortly. Thank you, Tom Homan, former Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. I'm back in New England, and of course, one of the first appointments I had was at Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. I love Florida, but when it comes to my teeth, I wait to come home to the best, Dr. Bruce Houghton. I've said it before, Dr. Houghton is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. I'm not into all these new protocols since the virus, but I have enjoyed a lot of the new procedures that Perfect Smiles has put in place. Believe it or not, they make it a more pleasant experience to visit the dentist. Many of these new devices put you in a state of total relaxation when you're getting work done on your teeth. If you put off your dental care for a year or so, don't wait any longer. So much of your overall health is connected to dental care. If you have problems with your teeth or gums, you're not going to be happy. And the longer you wait, when you finally do decide to do something, the more painful it's going to be and the more expensive it's going to be. That's why you need to make an appointment right now with Perfect Smiles. From complete reconstructive work to veneers, Perfect Smiles does it all for you. And Dr. Bruce Houghton is the best dentist I've ever seen. Getting to Perfect Smiles is easy. It's in Nashua, New Hampshire, right off the main drag, and they have free parking, plentiful parking. I always know I'm in great hands at Perfect Smiles, and that's why I book my appointments way out. Give Perfect Smiles a call today at 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE. You can also see my before and after video at perfectsmiles.com. Call them today, and don't forget to let them know Howie sent you. I'm Howie Carr.
Holding the Hackorama accountable is a full-time job.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
Howie Carr will be back after this short break.